he would step across the line. Habitually. He's a habitual line stepper.
You make me happy. Terry Ricardo DeShazo, thank you for joining me so much on the Habitual Line Steppers podcast. I'm Garrett Charles Langley Henson.
Yeah, man, and I'm Terry. What's going on, buddy?
It's been a rough weekend for me and the Atlanta Hawks, but we'll get to that in due time, Terry. First, we're going to rub some dirt in the eye of Nets fans. Okay, before we get to my trauma, I'm going to throw stones at somebody else first.
All right, let's do it.
Nets are down 3-0. They're getting their ass beat. I came out here last week. I was like, I'm not worried. They got all these different lineup combinations they could do. Steve Nash has all these adjustments he can make. Well, he's going to need to make them, Terry, because the Nets enter this series down 0-3 now. 0-3 for Game 2 in Brooklyn. Game 4 in the series. Is this going to be a sweep? Are we watching a sweep?
I think this is a sweep, man. And don't quote me on this, but the Brooklyn Nets are the most overhyped super team of all time. And that's the only thing I can say. I mean, so far, and also Kevin Durant. Oh, my God. I'm ready for the flame season. I want this to be a sweep so bad. I'm ready for this off-season flame session. I want every other game to be a blowout so we can only focus on one thing. And that's flaming Kevin Durant and flaming Kyrie Irving for being a fucking aloof. Like, this dude. Both of these dudes, I don't understand what the fuck's going on with these guys. Kyrie gave me a good game one. But KD, 3 straight games of being complete garbage? This is, you know what? I was going to say this is rare. But now that I think about it, OKC, when they lost 3-1, he played like shit. We tried to blame Russell. That's cool. We can let that slide. Russell gets hurt. He plays Memphis. Tony Allen and the grit and grind Grizzlies gave him the fucking business for a decent amount of games in a row. So I'm not going to say I am a hater of Kevin Durant. I'm not going to lie. But I'm not going to sit here and say, like, this is the worst I've seen him play. I've seen him play like shit. A little bit of physicality, and your boy crawls into a little shell like a little snail. I don't know what's going on with him, bro. What do you think's going on with this dude? They got no chance. Tatum is eating his lunch. Jaylen Brown is too, and Marcus Smart is. You got to give it to Boston's defense. This is the best defense I've seen for a while, like since probably Spurs type of shit. Like, this shit's crazy, man. It's absolutely insane.
I think, like, a lot of the times when we talk about Kevin Durant, like, the number one word that people use to describe him is unguardable. And Tatum is actually guarding him. Like, if you built a dude in a lab to guard Kevin Durant, he'd probably look a lot like Jason Tatum. Yeah, stronger than KD, almost every bit as long. You remember Tatum grew 2 or 3 inches since he came into the NBA.
Yeah, he's like 6'9".
Also has a great understanding of, like, what move Durant is trying to go to, because he copied all Durant's moves for his bag. So, like, he kind of knows what's coming. Like, in this area, this is what I would do. So he could be a step early contesting these jumpers. And, like, you put your hand in Durant's face, that's not going to change anything.
No.
But you jump, like, a little before him and get your hand right up to that catch point, that shot point.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen a lot from them. And for the first time I can really remember, Kevin Durant has looked bothered by defense.
Yeah. Yo, what I was thinking when I was watching, I forget what game it was. I think it was 1 or 2 where he went 18 from 20 from the line, right? Whichever game that was.
Got all his points from the free throw line.
Yeah. Like, do you ever remember, like, I swear to God, I've watched KD he's been in the league for 13 seasons or some shit or whatever. I don't think I've ever seen him miss a free throw. Like, of course, I haven't watched every single minute of him play, but I swear to God, I've never seen him miss a free throw. And I saw him miss 2 back-to-back, and I was just like, all right, dude's off. Like, he's just off. I don't want to.
Terry, there's something in the playoff water, because we saw this whole weekend people were missing free throws, whether it was Chris Paul, the entire Atlanta Hawks team, who you just mentioned there, the Bulls.
Yeah. Last week we saw Steph Curry miss some free throws.
Steph missed 4. Yeah.
Jordan Poole missed a couple. We were just like, what the hell's going on out here? But I don't know, man. What's your overall sense of Durant, man? Because this is gonna be ugly when we're talking legacy and shit. And when you think about him like having his own team, it's the narrative starts to shift, and it's already kind of that way where we're saying like Golden State wasn't his team, and now you're starting to hear like people were saying like he wasn't the best player for Golden State and all of this, which is false in a way. But when you can't do it by yourself, when you're the top dog, it's just like I don't know if the people are wrong when they say he's just not that guy.
Well, I certainly think that like the discussions with LeBron James and other players in the like top 10 pantheon needs to stop, especially if this man gets swept.
Yeah.
Because what we have to remember is that Kevin Durant re-engineered his legacy. Like he was like, I gotta play my career out so when they look back on paper, I'll have an ironclad case.
Yeah.
But the game wasn't played on paper, and we were all there to watch. And we watched you folded when you were in OKC up 3-1. We watched you ride the coattails and then take over in the hot moments from Steph Curry's team.
Yeah.
We watched you go to the Brooklyn Nets and put your foot on the line and then get knocked out by Giannis. And now we're watching a capitulation that the only star playing worse in these playoffs than Kevin Durant is Trae Young, and he's 6'0".
Yeah, his numbers are pretty
and is
bad.
getting triple teamed all game.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant, you don't have the same excuse, buddy.
Nah.
And some of his turnovers too have looked like completely out of character. Like he's getting stripped. How many times have you seen people like pick Kevin Durant's pocket right out of his hand? Like it doesn't happen. The stuff that we're seeing, and I couldn't be more disappointed with this Nets team, man. And I think it'll take like a whole offseason of analysis and parsing for us to figure out really what the fuck happened. But I'll turn around and ask you a question.
What's up?
Who's more disappointing this season? Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, Ben Simmons, or Steve Nash?
Hey, man.
As a Nets fan, who are you most disappointed by?
That's a great question. I mean, I think it all starts with Kyrie just for the overall, season. But as of right now, I think it's mostly on Durant and Nash. Because at least, like I said, like Kyrie gave you his great performance in game one. Dude scored 39, and his shooting percentage was like, I think, above 60%. Like, he gave you a fucking performance. Durant has not showed up in all three of these games. And it looks like he's just not going to. He's literally collapsing like LeBron was in the finals. But this is the fucking first round of the playoffs, my guy. This is not the finals, man. This isn't even the second round. Save the fucking Eastern Conference Finals. This is a fucking first round, bro. He's about to get swept. And Michael Jordan got swept in the beginning of his career. That's cool. Durant, this is your 13th season after winning 2 championships and 2 finals MVPs. Like, you're getting the blame of this shit, and I can't wait, bro. We're about to flame this shit, bro. It's over. Like, LeBron has never gotten the help that he's gotten. LeBron, of course,
No.
No.
Terry, entering the year, the Brooklyn Nets were the betting favorites by a gigantic margin. People were asking, like, is this the best big three ever? Like, don't tell me about your lack of help, Kevin Durant. And then you decide that the superstar you have isn't a clean enough fit. Then you bring in another all-star player in Ben Simmons in the middle of the season, and they can't even get him to play.
He made the dumbest move in the history of all time. You left the Warriors, and I get why he left the Warriors, because he looked at the overall sentiment of what everyone was saying. They were like, hey, he got these 2 finals MVPs. He beat LeBron, but everyone was like, yeah, we don't care. You fucking joined the best team of all time. Like, fuck you. And he was like, damn, I thought I was the best. All right, cool. And he make my own team. But it was a dumb decision. You left Steph Curry, who was coming off the bench for his team, selfless as fuck, for Kyrie Irving. That's who you hitched your wagon to. And that was the biggest mistake you've ever made in your fucking life, my guy. In your life. Outside of basketball.
Terry, I think that's really insightful what you just said, that he hitched his wagon to Kyrie Irving. You're supposed to be the man. Kyrie Irving's supposed to be hitching his wagon to you, Kevin Durant.
That's true.
That's what one of the 10 best players of all times operates and thinks like. You're not hitching. You think Michael Jordan was hitching his wagon to Scottie Pippen? Get the fuck out of here. And these are the like type of players that Kevin Durant aspires to be compared with. So it's like, would we be having this problem like with Kyrie if Kyrie played the exact same way he has through all these games, but KD had actually shown up? I feel like Kyrie has pretty much done what I expected.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie is who he is. The guy is injury prone. You know, he doesn't play a lot of games. We don't know if he loves basketball like he does. He gives you
all NBA defender.
He's a flash in the pan. He's great. And I get that people say like this is the most skilled fucking duo and blah, blah, blah. Like Kyrie Irving has been in Brooklyn for 3 years. Dude has played in, I think, 102 games, if I'm not mistaken, in 3 seasons. So, I mean, 82. What's that, like 166? Right? No.
164.
No. 82. That's
160.
That's 240. That's 246, right?
Are you serious right now?
80 and 80 is 160, yeah?
Yeah, 160. Bro, 82 plus 82 is 164, my guy.
No, I said 82, 82, and 82. We're talking 3 seasons.
Okay.
Played 100-something games out of a possible 246. Like, this motherfucker just doesn't play basketball. He just doesn't. Like, he gets hurt. The most games ever played in the season is 72. He did that shit with LeBron. And I'm sure LeBron was like, hey, man, you sprained your ankle. That's cool. Just keep fucking playing. But he doesn't have that guy like that anymore. Kevin Durant is like a fucking he's bringing him down. He's like, hey, man, it's fine, bro. You do your thing. You don't have to get vaxxed. And if you got James Harden questioning that your love for basketball, that's a fucking problem, bro. Because this dude doesn't give a flying fuck. My man has made like $500 million playing hoop, and he just goes to strip clubs and fucks bitches. He doesn't care. And he looks at Kyrie. He's like, this guy doesn't care. I'm out of here. That's fucking ridiculous. No one's
one of the most unprofessional players in NBA history who has his number retired in Houston strip clubs, calls you out for not being committed enough, and then requests a trade because of it.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I mean, that's wild. The only person less committed than Kyrie is Ben Simmons.
No, that's true. And this dude, Ben Simmons, I don't give a fuck.
First of all, shout out to the Lamb God himself. All right. They said they announced that he was targeting a return to Game 4, Terry. He was targeting a return pending that the rehab with his back continued on as planned.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what that back rehab has been or what the plan for that has been. But then Ben Simmons rolled up out of bed, Terry, after that Game 3 loss and said, I woke up with some back soreness, and actually there has been a setback. And actually, guys, the rehab did not go as planned. And I don't think I will be performing out there. I will be dripped head to toe in an emu, though. And could be looking to make a big impact with my emu with 27 zippers.
It must be great to be able to get hurt off the court and continue to get paid. Continue to just get millions and millions of dollars from this fucking NBA team. Now, I don't know if this is a fact or not a fact, but if me and you got hurt off the job, they'd be like, hey, tough cookie, my guy. We're not paying you not to fucking work. You can come to the games if you want to, but I'm not paying your ass. Like, fucking, I'm not getting paid for getting hurt out of the job. That's not
John Wall set the precedent.
Dude.
It was like I got hurt falling up my steps at my house. I wasn't horsing around at all. Yeah. and he got that money. And then everyone else is like, oh, shit, you can really do whatever you want.
Exactly, bro. The NBA Players Association needs to get way more credit than they do because this shit is absolutely fantastic. I need them to represent me. Fuck that.
Yeah. Like, by the way, since they had old girl take over, I forget her name, Michelle something, but the head of the players union who was like used to be working for the White House.
Yeah.
I forget when she took over like 8 years ago, but the players have been kicking the NBA's ass every fucking year. The players get more and more power.
Yeah.
NBA gets less and less. She's been doing a hell of a job. And shout out to CP3 too.
Yep. Shout out to him.
But on the topic of Kevin Durant, Terry, and Kyrie Irving, we all agreed before these playoffs started when I forget who was it that said it, but they said that Kyrie and KD were the most skilled duo that we've ever seen in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
And we all pretty much accepted it as a fact.
Yeah.
What does that say about the legacies of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving if the most skilled duo in NBA history gets swept in the first round? How do you properly rate the most skilled duo?
Oh, this whole Brooklyn experiment has been a failure. Like, that's already like a fact.
Or is the takeaway that we overrate skill as like observers and stuff that like we see is hard to do, and we underrate simple shit like the Miami Heat do, where they're connected, and the bubble Lakers are on the string. And it's like, wow, this is not really like jumping off of my TV screen, otherworldly, feats of skill, but it's like making the right play at the right time.
Nah, I don't think so. I think it's just, of course, shit is just going to change year to year. But like just last year, if he would have got any sort of help from either Harden or Kyrie, they're in the finals. I mean, this dude Kevin Durant was playing out of his fucking mind. Like, I don't know why he looks. Well, we know why he looks bad now, opposed to playing against the Bucks, because the Boston Celtics have a fucking all-time defense. But I can't sit here and say skill doesn't matter. It does. But I wasn't one of these people saying.
I'm not saying it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, are we like overrating the importance of skill in terms of like what really impacts winning at the end of the day? Like, we know
defense.
Jimmy Butler is less skilled than Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
But there's something about his approach that continues to get results offseason after offseason, even though we know he should not be the best player on a championship team.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a tough question to answer right now in this moment. For me, I would say it's not an overrated thing. It's not. But I guess if you want to talk championships, you do have to have both, though. Like, we asked the question. We said, is this defense going to hinder them, going forward to win a championship? Looks like it has. I didn't think sweep. I said Boston in 6. I was still disrespecting a little bit. You said Brooklyn in 7, which is like, hindsight being 2020 is still not that bad of a pick. Like, Brooklyn's looked okay. They, like we said, game 1, Durant played like shit. We're like, he won't do that again. They lost by 1. But somehow he's done it.
I just don't understand how they've been so bad defensively. Like,
Steve
the
Nash.
Celtics are not a supernova offensive team. Like, you go through their defensive personnel, you guys should be absolutely fine.
That's you.
You have plenty of good defenders on your team. Like,
I totally disagree. One is Steve Nash just doesn't know what rotation to fucking play. And plus, he hasn't had a consistent starting lineup since he started coaching for them. Like, he probably has the most different starting lineups for this 3 years.
Fair enough.
In history, probably. Dude, he just doesn't fucking know who should play and who shouldn't. This dude's playing fucking Gordon Dragic. He hasn't been good since fucking 2019.
So do you think he's going to be back to calling soccer on TNT at the end of this summer?
Hey, man, I mean, I don't think he's ready to coach these superstars like this, honestly. And I'm not going to make it I'm not going to do the whole Steven Jackson thing where, like, they would have never gave a black coach this opportunity, but shit ain't looking
They
too
would.
good.
First of all, they never would have. Like, let's be honest about that. I did think Steve Nash was a good hire, but I tell you what, man, I started to get concerned. You remember that first offseason when Kyrie was like, yeah, we don't really have a coach. Yeah. He was like, we have a lot of – he's like, as players, we like to take on the coaching role ourselves. We have like 30 coaches we all call coach. We all like to participate in the coaching process. I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. Now here we are, and it's like – it seems like Durant subs himself in and out of the games. Like, comes and goes as he pleases. The offense is straight up just Kyrie go ISO and take a hard-ass shot and be like one of the hardest shot makers ever. And it just like they're not getting anything easy for their star players. It's like watching the Hawks. It's just a bunch of guys standing around like this watching the superstar pound the ball into the hardwood.
Well, I fucking hate analytics, but when you looked at the analytics for this season, the Boston Celtics had the best one-on-one isolation defense in the entirety of the NBA. And what did the Nets do? Played right into their hands and just played one-on-one basketball. You're not going to win versus a team doing that shit. You have to draw up plays, bro. And Nash he's not an X and O guy. That's what it looks like. I mean, shit, it's 3 years and they've been running the same fucking offense.
Yeah.
KD, it's your turn. Kyrie, it's your turn. James Harden, it was your turn.
If anything, I feel bad for a guy like Ben Simmons, who lost an opportunity to make history this year, becoming the first player to ever lose back-to-back playoff series in consecutive games. That would be the first game that he played since he got knocked out last year. That would be a great stat to have.
Let me ask you a question before we move on. If Ben Simmons retired at the end of the season, would you be surprised?
Yes.
Ooh, really? He just looks like a guy that doesn't love his job.
Because he's suing Philly for $20 million. He clearly needs the money.
He just looks like he doesn't like his job. And this is the only thing I'll say. He looks like he doesn't like his job. And what do you do when you don't like your job? Oh, I feel a little sick today. I'm calling in. Oh, hung out too late last night. Calling in.
My back. Guys, I don't think I can change the keg.
Come on.
Persistent, the therapy, there's setback.
Come on, my guy. I mean, like, the thing is, like, we got you away from Philly, and we put you into a good situation. Like, probably one of the greatest situations he'll ever have in his fucking entire NBA career. And he still didn't want to get on the court. So, At this point, I'm just like, if he retires, I wouldn't be shocked. Fuck it.
Well, at this point, it's on him, and it's going to end up costing him Rookie of the Year.
How much would you bet to see if he's Rookie of the Year? Bet to see if he played in a game. Say if Brooklyn won the next two games, do you think he'd come back? Game
fuck
6?
No. It would have to be like, there's no situation because there's going to be a ton of pressure in like any game.
Yeah,
there's going to be too much pressure.
Like, I mean, this is crazy, bro.
At some point, like, can you be like, all right, our medical team like found no issues. Like, you have to play. Like, you're playing, and if you don't play, like, now you're violating like team rules.
Yeah, possibly.
Like, at what point? How long can you keep coddling an all-star player that hasn't played the whole season? Like, what happens next year if the first 3 weeks of the season, Ben Simmons has more turnovers than assists? Does he say his back hurts again and takes another sabbatical?
I don't know.
Like,
man.
someone has got to make a stand. It was Daryl Morey in Philadelphia. But on the Nets, he'll keep allowing this to go as long as they let him.
Yeah, you're right. I blame KD because I think KD is going to coddle his ass. Because remember when KD played through his calf strain and then tore his Achilles? I feel like KD, in a way, he was like, hey, man, don't force him to play if he's not ready, blah, 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 blah.
But wait a minute. Kevin Durant had an actual injury.
Who said this is not an injury?
I did. No. I said it as a person who has broken their back and has done years of physical therapy and rehab. I'm saying Ben Simmons did not hurt his back. First of all, what would he have hurt it doing?
That's what everyone wants to know, but he ain't going to tell anybody.
Sitting down at Wimbledon?
Well, that's the thing, though.
You think it was a Dwight Howard type of situation? That's how he hurt his back? Nights off in Atlanta?
Blown out? Nah, well, see, that's the reason why he said the mental health thing. Is because I honestly do think that injury wasn't good enough for the NBA, like, to keep giving him checks, like full checks. They're like, my guy.
Obviously. That's what I'm saying. So the injury is not legit. Like, just be like, you know what? I got the yips. Like, I have to go through like mental reconditioning like Markelle Fultz did before I can come back and be a positive NBA player. I'm working with a sports therapist and a psychologist, and I'm doing all this stuff to help retrain my body. But don't come out here and be like, my back hurts. Actually, I'm depressed, not in a good mental state. Actually, guys, I'm good to go, and I'm targeting game 4. Actually, my back hurts again. We're not falling for it, Ben. And matter of fact, your name isn't even Ben anymore. It's Bench Simmons, because that's where you've been for the entire year. And that's what you'll be known going forward as Bench Simmons.
Bench Simmons. He doesn't love the game, bro. and it's clear to see for everyone. He doesn't love the game. But let me ask you this question before we go. KD, if he gets swept, is there a possibility for him to still be a top 10 player of all time? Or is that ship going to sail with this sweep?
I don't want to hear anyone say he's better than Larry Bird ever again in my fucking life. First of all, ever. And for all you motherfuckers who are putting him in lists ahead of Tim Duncan and people like that, you need to revise. I think, Terry, if Kevin Durant gets swept in his first round, I think it's a very legitimate conversation. Who is higher in the basketball pantheon, Kevin Durant or Kevin Garnett?
That's too much. I can't go for that. But I can't go for that. But let's move on from one legacy to another, maybe tarnished legacy as well. And your boy CP3. Let's take a travel over to the West. And what the fuck is going on with one of your favorite point guards of all time that I historically hate on, Mr. CP3, the top 5 point guard? All of a sudden, of course, you're going to see some production drop without Devin Booker, but tying it up with the Pelicans. What's going on over there, man? Are you worried about it? How you feeling?
Hey,
I'm shaky. I'm
Terry,
full sweep.
You called it out earlier when we did our preview. You said, is Jose Alvarado a guy?
Yeah.
It turns out he is. And he's good enough that he's already got the nickname. Grand Theft Alvarado. And Terry, I never thought that he'd pull it off against Chris Paul, but last night he did. He sat in the corner. He picked him off. He picked his pocket. It worked. A sub 6 foot player got the better of Chris Paul in a playoff game. I couldn't believe it, man. Chris Paul, he started off hot last night, man. He scored 4 points in the first 6 minutes. He scored 0 in the last 42. Locked up.
That's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
It hasn't just been Alvarado who's been doing it. Alvarado's been great at the point of attack, funneling him into shot blockers. Yeah. But also, like we mentioned at the beginning of our series preview, the one bugaboo for the Suns last year and all the year, dealing with 2 bigs, dealing with teams that have a lot of size. Mm-hmm. And when they started Valanciunas and Jackson Hayes out there together, now it's really hard to finish in traffic. No, when I'm being shaded by Alvarado directly into 2 7-footers.
It's so interesting. Oh, my bad.
CP3, he's had to get the ball out of his hands and trust the secondary guys on the team to make plays. And guys like Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson have not stepped up.
Nah, they haven't. And that's what I was going to say. Like, it's so interesting to see. Like, we talk shit about Rudy Gobert not getting out of 3-point shooters. Why the fuck can the Suns not hit threes on these 2 bigs? Like, these 2 bigs, we can see that they can't get out and shit, but, like, I don't know what this coach is. He's good, but also some of those, Mikal and Cam, they're missing some shots. Jay Crowder, they're missing some shots, but of epic proportions to let the Pelicans fucking come back on you, bro? The fucking Pelicans with no Zion? Like, imagine if they win this and Zion comes back. He's like, what are you going to do with that? Like, you're going to fucking lose if Zion comes back in this shit.
Well, beyond that, it's like you guys finished with one of the 10 best records in NBA history. You cannot lose in the first round to a sub-500 team. The Pelicans won 34 games, Terry. They won 34 fucking games.
10 seed, bro. Yeah.
You were one of the 10 best records of all time. You had an all-NBA player, 2 of them, according to you, and the number 1 pick in DeAndre Ayton, and a guy who was on Defensive Player of the Year ballots in Mikal Bridges. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. And talk about legacies, my God. I mean,
this is done, bro.
It's slows the case shut on CP3 if he can't get out the first round in terms of like the all-time great point guards, the point guard stuff, like the perfect ideal of how a point guard should play and him embodying it. Like, we're going to have to find somebody else. He keeps getting waxed.
Yeah, it's so many playoff series, just back to back, and just so much evidence of like just dumbass plays. Especially, it's not of OKC proportion when he was doing that stupid ass shit, but I mean, It's getting pretty bad. 4 points for Chris Paul is crazy. Like, that's worse than KD in my eyes. For me, 4 points, 11 assists, cool. 4 points, man. You can't let somebody do that to you, man. You're a fucking Hall of Famer. You're first ballot, bro. You can't be doing shit like that. Like,
I don't know. I think KD's is worse because KD's a full foot taller. Like, you double team somebody who's 6 feet tall. Like, what are they going to do? Shoot over the top? Like, he has to give the ball up and trust his teammates to make plays.
Well, here's the thing. If this would be so bad because if he doesn't make it to the finals, like, I feel like this shit is so bad you have to make it to the finals. Like, if you lose in the second round, we're gonna be like, all right, so dude lost in the second round and had problems with a fucking 34-win team in the first round, like CP3. I don't know about all this fucking top 3 point guard shit. Top 4, top 5, you might be fringing if you keep bullshitting because his evidence is crazy and he's on one.
Yeah, but I want to take some time out from shitting on the Suns to give some flowers to the Pelicans, man, because they really deserve it. For a team that's been like a sub 500 team, like they have playoff DNA in that roster with guys like Valanciunas, guys like Herb Jones, who's a rookie playing absolute outstanding defense. Alvarado, another defensive first contributor. I like Trey Murphy, a 3-and-D wing who can hit big shots. Jackson Hayes has reclaimed himself to look from a bust to a guy who can catch alley-oops and guard on the perimeter on smaller guys and move his feet. Suddenly the dude who looked like he was doing way too much, Brandon what's-his-face, who came from the Hornets, now looks at plays coming off the bench, their backup point guard, Devontae Graham. Yeah. It's just like all the pieces are starting to fall in place, and it all starts with that CJ trade.
That trade, man. And when that trade happened, I was just like, all right, well, I guess he's just going to, miss the playoffs, waste a year, come back next year, see what they can do with Zion. But honestly, dude, like his leadership in this situation has been outstanding, bro, because he hasn't really won a whole lot over there in Portland. I mean, they made it to the Western Conference Finals once, and they made it to the playoffs a lot, but we wouldn't say they're like a winning team. Like, you lose a lot in the first round. You got swept a decent amount of times, and you start to question, if this guy is really like a really good player. But his leadership is crazy. He has the patience, unlike LeBron, to be able to mentor Brandon Ingram and like the rest of these guys. Like LeBron just didn't have no patience for these motherfuckers. He's like, look, man, I'm trying to win now. Fuck out of here. And he won in 2020, which is cool. But I think this is like a formula for them to maybe like, go off of this momentum next year and be a really fucking good team. Like they're
to be honest, like I'm interested to see how Zion fits back in the picture with CJ and BI, because I think one of the big pluses that CJ's brought to the table is it's simplified everyone else's role. Yeah. And Brandon Ingram, it actually it simplified it for him by allowing him to do more and be more of his actual self as a player and be more of a guy who has the ball in his hands. He's taking mid-range jumpers that's like in his bag. He's attacking in transition. He's pushing the ball. You saw a lot last season, Brandon Ingram kind of get reduced to a catch-and-shoot player who is when Point Zion was out there, Brandon Ingram was in the corner going like this. And I like this version of Brandon Ingram a lot better. And I don't know if the two versions can coexist with the three of them back.
That's true. I mean, we both know that he needs the fucking ball. But that's the thing. When you bring in Zion, dude's a he's a first-team All-NBA guy. Like, unfortunately, Brandon Ingram's still going to take a back seat, and you have to figure out what you're going to do with him, bro. But, I mean, if you want to trade Zion and do that, that's cool. But the Pelicans will just turn back into another fucking
fuck that. Trade Brandon Ingram to the Hawks.
I know that, but I'm just saying, like, because it seems like they want to get rid of Zion in a way, but like, if you get rid of him, I just think you're going to be another Portland Trailblazers. Like, you're just going to be fucking 4, 5, 6 seed Utah.
You can't get rid of the only dude who has the potential to change the trajectory of your whole franchise.
I don't know. It might happen. It seems like he don't even want to be there. I mean, he looks happy on the sidelines, but shit, I saw him fucking look 280 pounds one night, and then fucking 2 nights later, he looks 320 pounds. I'm like, who the fuck fluctuates like that?
First of all, Zion needs a stylist. Badly. I don't know who is dressing like whoever dressed Cyrano de Bergerac must be the person who's dressing Zion, because he always is wearing these roby, like hanging off my shoulders. You can't ever tell where his stomach is. Like, is he 350 pounds? Then I saw the motherfucker in like some Under Armour. I was like, oh, Zion's a little jacked out here. Like, he's in better shape than I thought. Next day, you see him back there again looking like a blue marshmallow. He needs to get whoever Dwayne Wade's guy is, get Zion out of here wearing some cropped suit pants looking like he just stepped out of a creek. You know what I mean? Let me see high fashion Zion, and then we can talk about how fat he is. But give the man a fair shot. Don't put him in a bunch of Walmart sweatsuits and then pick on him for not looking good.
He's not a fashionable guy, man. That's just him. Like, he's never going to be that guy. Like, dude got played by a fucking normal ass white girl at Duke. Like, you think this dude's going to be fucking wearing stupid Versace drip? Like, that's not fucking happening. Zion don't give one fuck about fashion. I can tell you that right now. He doesn't give a shit. So, like, bigger picture though. Do you think the Pelicans actually have a chance to win this series? Now that D-Book is out. He's out for 2 to 3 weeks. He's not coming back.
I do. Because the mentality of all those guys up and down their roster, they got that collective grit that I think is really important in the playoffs.
They do.
Now, Phoenix does too, and I'd put my money on Phoenix to advance.
Yeah. I think we can't be crazy and act like they can't do it.
But would I be shocked to death? It's like if Herb Jones and Alvarado and all these guys like continue to set the tone, and the Suns like are really troubled by their physicality. And another thing I have to mention, Terry, and this has not just been the Suns Pelican series, but the entire NBA playoffs have been horribly officiated.
Yeah,
absolute terrible refereeing up and down. It's inexcusable at this point that $1 billion-something product is being constantly marred by awful referees. You know, the Suns shot like 25 less free throws than the Pelicans in one of these games. We had the CP3, what's his name? The ref that he always hates, Scott Foster. You know, that type of variance is going to affect series like this as well, which is why I'm going to continue to put my money on the Suns. But is it out of the question that we could have another game fucked up by referees and another game where they let the Pelicans play like way more physical than the Suns are allowed to? I think it's possible. And then it's like, wow, it's game 7. Who knows what the fuck could happen?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the shit that we didn't see this year. And not a lot last year either was the Suns without Devin Booker. They don't look the same without Devin Booker. They just don't. We've only this year they were 8-6 without him in the regular season, if I'm not mistaken. Like I saw that, so that's a 500 team without D Book. That's not an all-time great team without D Book. So don't be shocked if these Pels win. If they win straight out, I'd be surprised. If it's like
it's like I don't think we should be too surprised because like you start to look at their guards without Devin Booker. It's like, oh god. 37-year-old, 6-foot-tall Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, who's been on 12 teams in the 3 years that he's been in the NBA.
Yeah,
Cameron Payne, who is out of the league. Like,
yeah,
the talent is not really sterling beyond those 2 supernovas, and it's it's like we may have really overlooked what could have been a huge Achilles heel in this team just because those 2 guys at the top were so good. We're like, oh, we don't have to worry about guards. They'll always have Booker or CP3 on the court.
Yeah, I mean, that is something. And also, we forget like that. It's sometimes people get hurt in the playoffs. Like, it happens. But this is CP3, man. Fuck, man. I hate doing this shit. But if he loses this shit, I'm out of here. He's sick. He's 6. And you couldn't tell me otherwise that he's not 6. I'm done with that dumbass shit. I'm out of here, bro. And you can indulge on it if you want. My man is the 6th best point guard of all time, and that's it. He's choking it. He's choking it hard. He's on it, bro. Like, come on.
He's choking it hard, Terry.
Scott Foster shouldn't be reffing any more games. This dude had hella phone calls with fucking Tim Donahue, and somehow he's still reffing fucking NBA games all these years later. What's going on?
And clearly holds vendettas. Like, it's very obvious to anybody who watches that he's holding a grudge.
Oh, 0-13 with CP3.
Yeah, a casual observer can tell that he's not, like, calling a regular game. And I'm sick of the referees, man. But let's take a trip over to the East Coast. The Atlanta Hawks could blame a lot of the stuff on referees. In fact, Trae Young did after Game 2, saying, if they're going to allow these guys to be as physical as they are, then I'm not going to get off at all this series. So far, that has proved to be true.
Crimea River, man. Come on.
Like Chris Paul, Trae Young has struggled very much this playoffs. Last night, Terry.
Really bad, though. This year's bad.
Over the course of the series, Trae Young has 24 turnovers to 24 assists to 20 baskets.
Ooh, golly, that's worse than KD's. I thought KD had 19 baskets and 17 turnovers. That's fucking horrible. Jesus Christ. Trae? So you blaming that on the officials, or is Trae Young playing like shit?
Trae Young's playing like shit.
Or is he getting strapped?
He's getting strapped, but he's also playing like shit. Like, I can't tell you how many possessions in this over the course of the 4 Hawks Heat games I've watched where the ball has never entered into the paint for the Hawks at all, at any part in the possession, whether via getting passed into the paint or somebody dribbling through the paint. Like 30% of the possessions, the ball never leaves the 3-point line. That's not going to work against a coach like Eric Spoelstra and a team like the Miami Heat. They're too fucking smart. They're too well connected. The basketball IQ is too high. They're too gritty. They're too tough. And they saw the dumb shit coming. And Trae Young is getting face guarded by 2 or 3 guys. And we have Gallinari, who hasn't been able to hit a shot since Christmas, out there on the court with Kevin Huerter, who can't dribble. And then Trae Young has to swing the ball to them. And then they can't dribble or do anything. They have a choice. Take a 35-foot 3 or now dribble into the Miami Heat defense, get swarmed, and turn the ball over. It's been a referendum on the roster construction for Atlanta. It's been a referendum for the coaching and Nate McMillan. And most of all, it's been a referendum on Trae Young, a guy who declared he was built for moments like these and burst onto the scene, like showing everyone, hey, I'm one of the guys that plays best in big moments. And maybe unwriting a bit of that narrative here against the Heat.
Yeah, man. It's crazy how fast you can go from like Allen Iverson to fucking Darrell Armstrong, like from one postseason to the next. Shit is not even Darrell Armstrong. That's just a joke. He went from like AI to James Harden. Like AI's playoff, identity is like, oh, he was one of the greatest playoff contenders ever, and now his shit is just like, this guy's the biggest joker since James Harden. It's not his fault. The Heat are a really good fucking defensive team as well, and the Heat getting Victor Oladipo back too. Like this, your playoff pick might be right, bro. The Heat are looking really good, but the Hawks are not a good basketball team this year. They're just not. So this is tough for you, boy.
But at some point, you got to take some personal responsibility, Trae Young. I never would have imagined in 2 Atlanta Hawks playoffs games, Kevin Knox scored more than Trae Young. In fact, Terry, are you ready for this stat?
Go ahead, give it to me.
Are you sitting down? Because you need to be sitting down.
Go ahead.
Kevin Knox, last night, Terry, only had 7 fewer points than Clint Capella, Kevin Huerter, Bogdanovich, and Trae Young combined.
So the Hawks won the Kevin Knox trade? The Hawks won the trade for Cam Reddish?
Too bad Kevin Knox only plays in blowouts and won't be on our team next year. Yeah. But talk about an indictment when an afterthought outscores your top 4 leading scorers. Combined.
That's wild as shit. Bro, I'm gonna need for Trae Young to be, and we just shit on Chris Paul for like 15 minutes, but I'm gonna need for Trae Young to be a little more like Chris Paul and less like AI. Like at a certain point, you have to be different. You're one-dimensional as fuck, and you're hurting your team. Like the style that he plays, bro. You have to get your guys way more involved. Stop trying to do crazy tough shit. Play within your fucking means. Stop shooting 30 feet and getting frustrated. He looks like a fucking senior guard in college playing basketball, and it's like, I can't get to the hoop. He gets frustrated and just starts shooting 30-footers. Like, he looks absolutely dumb. It's just ridiculous, man. He's a better player.
I couldn't agree more, but Atlanta needs to do so much more offensively to make things easier for him. Like, the Heat are just all over everything the Hawks are running, which are usually like one pick and roll at the top of the key. Then the Heat will switch that and get a big on Trae Young. Then, as the shot clock dwindles down, they'll send a double. And then when Trae Young has to pass with 4 seconds left on the clock because he's being double teamed, they only have 3 seconds of rotations that they have to hit so they don't get burned. And it just happens over and over and over again. You watch the Suns, and you said you want Trae Young to be more like Chris Paul. When something's happening on one side of the court, there's also something happening on the other side of the court.
Yeah.
There are 2 pick and rolls being run. If someone's setting a pick and roll on the ball, someone else is setting a pick and roll off the ball, an off-ball screen on the other side of the court to make at least the defense look at 2 things. The Hawks is everyone look at Trae Young. Okay, we got the ball out of his hands. Now we can relax.
Yeah, that's true. You called this, though. You called this a while ago. His off-ball movement is atrocious. But that's on coaching, too. You have to, hold this dude accountable, man. Make him do something. You can't be James Harden, man. James Harden has horrible playoff efficiency because he doesn't do shit when he doesn't have the ball.
Well, we saw the only game the Hawks won. Trae Young played off ball way, way more than he has the rest of the series, with DeLon Wright handling the point guard duties and him coming off screens doing other stuff. And it was way more successful attacking the Heat defense. Of course, we completely abandoned it the next game and barely tried it at all and stuck DeLon Wright back on the bench in favor for Kevin Huerter.
Yeah, your boy Nate
he's got to go. He's got to go. Nate McMillan, I looked it up, has lost in the first round 11 out of 13 times.
At least he made the playoffs 13 times.
He's a shitty coach, dude. I'm sorry, Nate McMillan. I'm not saying you don't know basketball, but you don't know how to adjust.
Yeah, and that's
not know how to adjust, bro.
That's a big thing in becoming a great coach, because I feel like that was. I'll give you a name. I feel like that was one of the problems that, in a shorter time, Brad Stevens had. In a way, it's like he was a really good coach, but in certain situations, great out of bounds plays and all that type of shit. That's fine. But when you're
we don't have that either.
yeah. No, I'm just saying he was a good coach, but the reason why he's not the Celtics coach now is because he doesn't make in-game adjustments and shit. You're just like, my guy. They kicked your ass in the first half and they kicked your ass in the second half. You'll never see somebody just get smacked and you have good players on your team. The Hawks got good players on your team. Even Danilo Gallinari was a good playoff player as well. Where the fuck is he at?
They're not being utilized properly. Gallinari also either just passes it right back to Trae Young or takes a fadeaway jump shot every time now. He's barely ever attacked. He's one of the best one-on-one players. We have not done any of him taking advantage of mismatches when they switch and get a smaller player. And that's been the other thing you're saying about this. There were multiple times last night I watched Capella or Gallinari or John Collins. They switching everything. They get a fucking point guard on them. And we got Bam Adebayo or PJ Tucker guarding Trae Young 35 feet from the basket. And Trae Young takes a 35-footer with 18 seconds left on the shot clock instead of running DeAndre Hunter out of the other corner, isolating on the block on a fucking mismatch with their point guard trying to defend in the post, and then waiting for them to double and getting a wide open 3 instead of taking a 35-foot non-open 3 over a center.
Frustrating ass threes. That's all he's doing, man. I think he just loves scoring, and that's it. That's cool, man. If you want to, try to beat LeBron's fucking scoring record, good luck, buddy, because it's not fucking happening.
That's not it. His best skill is still his facilitating. He led the league in total assists. Let's not sleep on Trae Young, the playmaker. He still makes passes a game that only maybe 3 guys in the league can do.
A lot of turnovers, though. I need less of those.
My God. But the thing is, when you swing the ball to when Trae Young gets doubled and then he swings that ball to another wing or someone else on the perimeter, they have like a half-second hesitation where they can't figure out what to do and then attack against a defense that's now got their feet set. Yeah. 2 times passes went right off DeAndre Hunter's hands out of bounds that he just didn't catch like he was Kwame Brown. Like, what? How different would this Hawks team look if they had a guy like Tyrese Maxey that's like, wow, there's a crack in the defense. When the ball's being swung to me, I'm already running to the basket. Like, I'm not standing there waiting. I'm taking off like a blur. And that dude would make a, like, Maxey on this team, Trae Young would look 10 times different because they couldn't play him like they are now. But with Kevin Huerter and Bogdanovich and Gallinari and DeLon Wright and a bunch of other guys around him that can't fucking dribble and make quick decisions on the fly, this is what he's being reduced to.
Nah, you're right. But I think, and on that Gallinari conversation, I think Gallinari is just like, hey, man, this ain't a championship team. I'll check the fuck out. He doesn't look like himself at all. I
think Gallinari knows what it is. I think you're right, bro. He's like, this ain't last year's team, dog.
No, he's like, bro, this team sucks. Like, I'm done. I'm not trying to get hurt. Like, he's injury prone as fuck. He's like, yeah, I'm just passing it, moving around, doing the action. I'm good. He looks different. But do you think this series is over? We know that the Heat are going to win in 5, probably. Do you think that Trae Young can win? Do you like the team that they built around him? I felt like they should have built it more with defenders and make people that can shoot threes, like similar to Phoenix. But it seems like they went for offense instead of looking at the other end, in which you've been bad for years with Trae Young. Like, you need guys that can cover him. Because
I think they tried to do that, Terry, but they just like misevaluated guys.
They didn't
like
Cam Reddish.
Yeah, exactly. That year we drafted DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish. That was the plan. 2 6'10" rangy 3-and-D guys. They could switch everything around Trae and protect it. Then, after the Knicks series and the 76er series, we got this idea in our head that Kevin Huerter is a defensive stopper because he shut down because he shut down Alec Burks and Seth Curry. Like,
whoever the fuck it was.
He was the only dude who could stay in front of Derrick Rose, and suddenly I'm thinking, oh, Kevin Huerter, the 6'7" wing with size who can dribble, pass, shoot, and play defense. This guy is a $60 million player.
Red Velvet.
And then the next thing you know, you're like, this guy is like Luke Kennard, but he can't shoot.
Nah, that's true. Hey, man. Hawks are done. I guess you're right. They tried it. It just didn't work out. I mean, there's still time.
Big changes coming in this summer for the Hawks. Big changes. So Nate McMillan, you better hire a private detective and get some dirty pictures on Travis Slank and on the other people in management in Atlanta. Because I tell you what, you're going to have the hottest seat in the entire NBA going into next season. And if the Hawks pick up a second banana and they start sub 500 their first 10 games, Nate McMillan's going to be on the first train to Fort Wayne coaching the Mad Ants.
Yeah, he definitely will. So we don't have to talk Bucks Bulls. It kind of seems like it's over even without Chris Middleton out. Let's talk about a possible teammate that you want in their series going over on the West Side. Utah Jazz, Donovan Mitchell, and Luka Doncic is back. So the series is tied 2-2. Luka's first game back plays well, but they end up losing the game by 1. And we were kind of having that Rudy Gobert conversation for years. And now it seems like people are starting to catch up and look at the defense of Utah, like the guards and shit, and they're like, hold on. Is it really Rudy Gobert's fault? Or do these fucking guards just don't know how to play any defense? Like, Mike Conley can't stay in front of anybody. Like, I feel like their best perimeter defender is Bogdanovich. And he's not the guy, man. He's strong up top. I feel like he can guard people like LeBron kind of.
When you're counting on a 35-year-old white guy to guard on the perimeter, that's when you know you're in trouble.
Yeah, so Luka comes back. Luka looks great. Evaluate his situation, man. I think this is going to go down. He loses his first game back. It's tied up 2-2, which is
he's getting his feet wet. They're going to win the rest of the games. Yeah,
easy?
I said this at the beginning of the playoff prediction, man. I'm not changing my pick. If Luka plays,
you did think the Jazz would win if he didn't come back until like game 4. You were like the Jazz probably are going to win if he comes back after like game 3.
I said if he plays 4 more, they win.
All right, so he play 4, 5, 6, and possibly 7. I don't know if it's going to go 7 if he's back though. He looked good.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to go 7, Terry.
I'm surprised
they won. The Jazz won on a last-second alley-oop dunk. Like, I don't see that happening again.
That's the funny thing because it was these stats that are saying like Donovan Mitchell passes it to Rudy Gobert like the least of anyone in the fucking entirety of any duo in the NBA or some shit. I was like, damn, that shit is cold-blooded.
Bro,
That's
did
crazy.
you see their contrived-ass like attempt to make it look like they liked each other afterwards to the national media? They're like, you're that guy. Yeah, me and you together.
Yeah,
We're good at this. I was like, wow, guys.
Rudy Gobert already is like an awkward moving person anyways. It just looked even worse when you hate that. Fucking dap up and give a high five. And I was like, just go celebrate and move on, bro.
Right.
This shit is busy.
They're
So
like,
you got
guys, we have a handshake with 26 different parts in it together. Don't you see how much we like each other?
It's more like when you fucking dap up a new person and you don't know whether to give them a handshake or give them like regular dap or just give them a fist bump. It's like,
Right.
I don't know.
Like the white person behind a black person in line going to shake Barack Obama's hand.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, he just threw up to dap to the person before me. I didn't know he was coming for a shake.
Yeah, no, that's true. So here's my thing.
Royce O'Neal is not dropping Luka Doncic's. All right, there we did it.
Nah, nobody can guard him. But here's my thing. After kind of watching, the slander of Rudy Gobert kind of stopped because I feel like people kind of got bored of it. What do you think about Donovan Mitchell's defense, bro? Do you think he has the ability to play defense, or is he really just this bad at fucking guarding people? Like, I think he just like let people go by him.
Yeah, I think it's like he wants up out of there, bro. Like his rookie year, I swear he played better defense than this.
He played decent defense, I feel like, in his first and second year. Like now, his third, fourth, and fifth season is.
It's like his rookie year, he would get lost in team defense, but like if he pulled up his shorts and like wanted a guy on ball, he could do a pretty decent job. And this year, I don't even see that. Like he's getting blown by on the ball, off the ball. He dies on every fucking screen. Whether he's chasing somebody off the ball like a shooter or it's a pick and roll action. Like,
no, man, this is wild. But your boy Luka needs to win this. But you think it's gonna be easy money? I mean,
wait a minute. Let me ask you a really like blasphemous question, but it is tying two stuff together.
Yeah.
You just said if you were the Atlanta Hawks, you would do everything you can to surround Trae Young with defenders, not offense.
Yeah.
That being said, when it's time for the Atlanta Jazz to blow up their team this summer, if you're the Atlanta Hawks, are you calling for Mitchell or Gobert?
If I'm the Hawks, oh man, that's tough. I don't know if I can go with Gobert. I can't. I'm thinking Gobert would be perfect. Like,
no one gets blown by more than Trae Young, Terry.
I wasn't gonna say for Atlanta. Like Gobert, his hands are just so bad that I think honestly the only team he can play for would probably be Boston. Like the way that they use Robert Williams isn't the same way. It's like they don't switch everything with him. They kind of help him not be one-on-one. But when he is one-on-one, it doesn't look bad. Right? Rudy Gobert just can't guards one-on-one. That's not what he can do. So like, I don't see him playing on any other team because it's like when they try to give him the ball. They try sometimes, dude. He doesn't have any post moves. He fucking bobbles everything. He can catch alley-oops. But it's like any other pass, he's like, oh, bounce passes, forget about it. He's dropping every single one.
Right. Donovan Mitchell is like, listen, dude, it has nothing to do with COVID. Like, you can't catch the fucking ball. That's why I don't like you. You keep fucking up my assist numbers. I don't care if you coughed on me. My grandmother's fine.
Yeah, his hands are bad. But like we were saying, Donovan Mitchell going to Atlanta, seeing the defense that he's playing, if he can give more effort, maybe. But if he's playing like that type of shit, Atlanta's going to be fun to watch. But y'all ain't doing a damn thing in the playoffs. Nothing. Not a single fucking thing.
Unless DeAndre Hunter turns into Kawhi Leonard.
Hell no, bro. I swear to you on my life, you guys will literally be in the same situation as Brooklyn. Like talking about 3 years in. Oh man, what could have been? What could have been? You guys have never been a fucking top seed. Only that one time. Were they even a top seed last year? Were they 1 or 2? 3?
It does seem likely though that like it could be another CJ McCollum, Damian Lillard, Russell Westbrook, Bradley Beal, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, or / James Harden. Like 2 great offensive guards now makes your entire defense fall apart in the postseason.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can't be weak at the same position and the same area.
No.
If you have one dude who's supernova on offense, you can't have another guy who's a supernova on offense, the same position. No. And
they just play.
It depends on like internal improvement, man, and accountability. Like maybe Mitchell will be more inclined to give better effort and understand team rotations if he's not the best player on his team and is not the guy. I don't know.
You think Trae Young is better than him?
Fuck yeah. Are you kidding me?
I don't know, man.
Oh, my God. This is the dude that you just put on your All-NBA team, Terry. We're a week away from that.
I'm not saying anything crazy here. This isn't insane. That's a fucking question.
You called me insane for putting Donovan Mitchell on the All-NBA team, and now you're saying he's better than Trae Young. Yes, this year. When I picked him up.
It's wild this year. There's too many.
Yeah, we're talking about this year, Terry. We're talking about this year.
I'm looking at Trae Young struggle crazy. And Donovan Mitchell the Mavs are a good defensive team. All right. And he's still playing really well. That's all I'm saying, dude.
They're still not as good as the Heat.
The Mavs are still a really good defense, bro. Come on, man. They got a lot of wings that can guard him, and he's still getting his numbers pretty easily.
Listen, man, Trae Young is playing without Clint Capella, who hurt himself in the play-in, hobbled all series, with John Collins, who missed the last 30 games of the regular season with a high ankle sprain and still has a fucking tumor in his finger that he can't shoot or catch anything with Danilo Gallinari, who checked out and clocked out on the season 3 months ago. Like, these are his bigs. These are the guys Trae Young's throwing alley-oops to. These are the guys he's dependent on.
I got you.
Dude, see what Hassan Whiteside would look like in Atlanta. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And he's the backup in Utah.
I got you. So you think Dallas is going to win it easy?
Yeah, I think Dallas wins this one in 6 games. I don't see Utah winning another game. Luka was getting warm. You know, he wasn't all the way back, but you saw the seeds of what he was going to do. And with like that minute left or whatever, got that switch on Gobert, just as we wanted. Top of the key. I looked at T, grabbed her in the arm. I go, here we go. Step back, right in his face. What happened?
So
splashed it right in his face. And if they didn't get lost on defense and give up an alley-oop dunk, that would have been a game winner.
Yeah, but that's credit to Donovan Mitchell, though. He's a great player.
It is. I'm just saying, Rusty Luka almost just won the game. Rusty Luka. When he gets back to prime Luka, informed Luka, I haven't eaten 2 dinners, Luka. Problem.
I got you. So let's there's a couple more series we can talk about, but let me ask you just one more question. It's going back and forth, it seems like year in and year out. Evaluate the Luka Trae thing right now. We liking Luka more now?
Yeah.
Say it. Don't nod your head. Give the audio people a fucking chance.
Yes. But I don't think I ever flopped. I never said I'd take Trae over Luka. I always said I don't think it's crazy to have the conversation. Because everyone said it was such a bad trade. Atlanta fucked up so bad. I said, let's start to have the conversation because he has had better playoff performances than Luka and got farther in the playoffs. That being said, it's important to remember context. And Luka was playing against teams that probably could have gone to the finals, and Trae Young beat the Sixers without Ben Simmons and the Knicks, who are poo-poo. So, context is key. Right now, I'd take Luka. And at the end of the day, Terry, another thing that I like to remember is if all things are equal, I'm going to take the guy who's 8 inches taller.
Taller, yeah. No, I got you. I got you. So let's go. We got the MVP boys. We can either shit on Jokic or we can.
Oh no, we're not shitting on Jokic at all. I'm about to praise Jokic.
Go ahead.
Shitting on Jokic. Hold on, what? Shit on Jokic? Yeah, all he did was drop 37, 8, and 6 last night and foul Draymond Green, the best defender in the entire league, out of the game. That's all. Playing with a bunch of nobodies, giving a game-winning assist as he Euro steps into the paint off a short roll and throws a no-look pass to a corner shooter. Yeah, he really didn't show up, Terry. He was plus 34.
And they bench his ass for defense.
Or he was plus 18. And when he does get benched for defense, he calls out to his team immediately what the play is, so they steal.
Swear to God, I wish they wouldn't have shown that on camera because all I want to do is fucking pull up the defensive box plus minus numbers and be like, that is your fucking king. The guy who's one of the best defenders in the league gets subbed off the fucking court in a crucial game situation. Get the fuck out of here. But you're right. Jokic, he's played one great game in my eyes. At least like to MVP Jokic like levels out of 4, which is kind of unacceptable for me. I understand his supporting cast is garbage, but you're going against Draymond. Not get Draymond as an all-time defender, dude. But at the same time, dude is 6'7", 25, 30 pounds. Come on, man.
No way.
Kid.
There's no way he's 225. There's no fucking way, Terry.
I can look it up, but like
a year ago, I was 225. Me and Draymond Green were not the same size.
So you think he's like 240 or some shit? 250?
I thought he's like 255. Like that's a big. He's strong too. He got a big ass.
They got 230. They got 6'6", 230.
Yeah, you know how they do on those. They never update people's weight after they rookie year. They'd be like, no, Kevin.
He's not even
Giannis is still 190 pounds.
Come on, man. Don't do that. This is up to date. They got 230, bro.
I will give Draymond credit, though, because he strapped Jokic those first 3 games and was holding him to like 35%, 40% shooting from the field.
Bro, it's crazy. It's fucking crazy. I mean, he's still doing it pretty well. But last night was like the official, like, damn, Jokic, he killed him.
I think Mike Malone went to him and he was like, listen, dude, like this, I'm the facilitator and going to get everyone involved crap isn't going to fucking fly. Like you need to do that when you're getting double and triple team because they can't guard you. Like making the correct basketball play to the open dude who is Zeke Naji or Austin Rivers or one of these guys that's not going to capitalize is not working against the Warriors defense. You need to be aggressive as a scorer from the jump, get their bigs in foul trouble, and then when they go to overhelp, that's how the only way we're going to get easy shots. And that's definitely got to be the blueprint going forward.
It has to be. If they even want to win a game, he has to be a scorer. But his identity is just, he's just a selfless dude.
That's his disposition first, is we like, I'm going to get everyone involved the whole time and I'll get my buckets in the flow of the game. It's like, no, you need to make the flow of the game. I'm getting buckets.
No, that's true. I mean, but when we look at the pantheons of centers, man, if a lot of these greats would have had Draymond Green, they would have been eaten, man. I'm just telling you. But at the same time, come on now. No, come on.
I disagree completely.
Shaq's fucking killing him.
He's the best defensive player we've seen between him and Kawhi Leonard since Scottie Pippen.
So that means Jokic is outside the top 10, right? Of all-time centers?
No. I'm saying he's going against a historically great defender. I absolutely think Draymond would have done this to other centers. Absolutely. You think Patrick Ewing's any better than fucking Jokic? Are you kidding me?
I could put him with Patrick Ewing. He's not. Patrick Ewing's okay, but his offensive game was.
Well, you name a center. You tell me who you're talking about.
What I was going to say was Draymond is a good defender. But we fucking laughed when he said he was one of the greatest defenders of all time. He said he was the greatest defender of all time. And we named like 30 fucking people in front of him. Now, all I'm saying is, if Jokic is that great, you got to be able to do something against this fucking guy. Like, we fucking literally laughed our asses off when Draymond said he was the best defender of all time.
He's not the best defender of all time, but listen, man, he's in the top 10. He's in the 10 best defenders of all time.
Just because what he's doing right now?
No, his whole career.
But it was 3 years ago when he said the shit, right? Or was it 2 years?
Right.
It wasn't that long ago, and we were laughing at it. So come on now.
I was laughing at it because he said the best, because you weren't the best. Like, everyone knows he's not the best.
We said maybe top 20. Now you're saying top 10?
Yeah, he's kept doing it. And also, remember when he said that? That's when Draymond was like, that's when the Warriors kind of had a little down period. Draymond got a little fat. He lost a little step. We were like, oh, is he the same guy? Then, that was when Jordan Poole was taking 20 shots a game. Now that they're back to contention, Draymond's shed all that weight. He's back in the rotations. He's locked in. He even said, like, in a bunch of interviews, he's like, I don't know how to be on, like, a bad team. He's like, I don't know what to do out there.
Yeah.
I don't know how to play basketball on a bad team. So
he's not fit for a bad team because he just doesn't do things that.
So we were like, maybe he fell off, but now he's back on a good team. It's like, no, he's the same defensive player to your candidate, probably the best defender in the whole league.
Yeah, but I'm not. I always get caught up in like the first round MVP matchup things when it comes to the playoffs. So I'm gonna get carried away time in and time out.
And you can see the impact, even though he got ate up by Jokic. I got an on-off plus number for you, Terry. In the 14 minutes that Green did not play in their last game, Denver outscored Golden State by 23 points.
Oh, you're talking about Draymond Green?
Yeah.
That's pretty good right there.
So when he's not out there, they're getting absolutely fucking torched. When he is out there, he's playing Jokic to a draw.
And it's Boogie, too. Boogie's killing, like you were saying. He's fucking dominating the fucking second. Oh, my God. He is killing the second string guys. It's so fun to watch.
Boogie! He's back, Terry. I hope Boogie is a renaissance so bad and can get back in the league permanently. I love a good back to the basket big.
I think he's done. If the Bucks are cutting you, he's still good enough to be in the league. That's not a question. He's definitely good enough to be in the league, but I don't know. If a contender like the Bucks are cutting you, like that's cause for pause. But he still looks good. He looks good. So Jokic looks all right. I'm going to hate. You were really lucky he didn't get swept because I was going to flame his whole fucking shit.
Thank God the Warriors couldn't make free throws, huh?
Yeah. So do you want to talk about Embiid or are you done with that? Do you want to go on to soccer? Or we can
listen, man. Sometimes, Terry, it's important to look in the mirror and admit when you're wrong.
Oh, no, I'll never do it. The fucking West is garbage as shit, and your boy, cool. We have never talked about someone getting 2,000 points and 1,000 rebounds ever. Like that's
first of all,
like totality is a thing.
Terry, I'm talking about myself. Myself. Okay, slow down. All right, my man. I'm not coming for you right now, Terry. I'm trying to lay down on the couch and make a confession of my own. All right, and you're out here cutting into my time.
Go ahead.
Can I have some time between me and God, please? Jesus Christ. I'm trying to talk to him. All right. I said the Raptors are going to win this series.
Yeah.
That's clearly not going to happen.
No. I fucking told you. I feel like no one has said what I said. But I'll let you continue to be on your soapbox. Go ahead, if you want to.
I got like 2 into NBA nerddom. I got 2 into the advanced numbers and the future of basketball with the 6'7" to 6'9" guys and a way better coaching than Nick Nurse. And I forgot that Fred VanVleet is 5'8" and that Joel Embiid is 7'2".
Yeah, Embiid is a fucking monster, man. But
they got no answer, and it's just that simple. Like all the other minutia and the box and one and the triangle and two and the pick and roll coverages and what shots that Toronto's trying to get in, and they have all these guys who could dribble past. It doesn't fucking matter. They have no one on their team who can guard this man. Nobody.
But that's what I told you. I told you that. Everybody wants to forget these light in the ass Raptors players. How the fuck are you gonna guard this guy? He weighs 280 pounds.
I thought they were going to get the ball out of his hands and then, like, be super great in the rotations. You know, kind of like the Heat are with Trae Young. You know, get the ball out, then make all the guys hurt you.
Yeah. Well,
the problem is Joel Embiid's 7'2", and he could pass right over a double team. Or if you double team with a smaller player, he'll be like, "Fuck you! I'm still shooting this right over your face."
And I think we do have to give old Nurse Rivers, Mr. Doc. I'll call him Doc. we got to give him some credit because he's actually putting them in situations. And I think I got to give James Harden some credit too because he's a really good facilitator, even though he's not going to score crazy anymore. I think him and Doc have kind of talked about ways of letting Embiid get in situations on the floor and where they can't double or where he can go one-on-one with somebody that's way lighter than him. Like, you're never going to see the old school, I'm on the block, I get it, and I back down. One Raptors dude that weighs 200 pounds one-on-one and dunk it. That's not happening. The NBA is too smart for that shit, all right? Like, fucking Shaq going one-on-one with Rodman, and the Bulls were just like, let him have it, and Shaq gets fucking 38 and 16. That's not happening. Draymond can guard Jokic one-on-one, kind of, but he's still getting help. That's over. The way we're seeing Embiid dominate, just different situations of pick and rolls. They're moving players around. He's getting it ISO'd at the top of the key like Dirk. And he's just going to work on this dude, going straight to the basket on Precious Achiuwa, going straight to the basket on your boy Birch. Birch has that motherfucker Birch ain't got no business out there with Joel Embiid. That man needs to get back in the gym and start moving his feet and get quick because that shit's sad. But Embiid's a beast, and Doc has put him in good situations. And shout out to Harden, bro. The facilitating is great, and Max is playing great too.
Shout out to Doc, like you said, man, because if he didn't take that time out at the end of the game there, I thought that was like exactly what Toronto wanted. Double Embiid, end of the shot clock, force a turnover. He throws up a half-court hook shot.
One-handed.
Right. I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is the formula. Doc Rivers was like, not so fast. I pressed the call nurse button right before the patient expired. And they actually gave him a shot of adrenaline. And we're going to have another shot at this. And then Joel Embiid said, hey, Karl Anthony Towns, you remember when you said you're the greatest shooting big man ever? Why don't you hit a big shot in a big game? Take notes. Take notes, light skin. Woo!
Yeah, smacking them shits. But, hindsight being 2020, I'm not going to sit here and say, for the comparison of like the MVPs, I'm not going to sit here and say like, if I think the exact Denver Nuggets team, if you literally just switch the teams, I think Denver would beat Toronto as well too, because they just can't guard big men. They have a problem guarding big dudes. Like, it's a fucking problem. But I don't know.
I think Toronto wins because one of the things we said, like you said it really quick about Maxey, is like if there's a crease, if there's just a crack in the defense, he's like light in a dark room. Like, he's bursting through. Yeah. There's no containing him. And he's going. Even his ability on fast breaks, like when you play 2K, they have a one-man fast break badge. Tyrese Maxey should have above Hall of Fame level. Like, the dude will go 1-on-4 in a fast break and get a great shot out of it. Like, I've never to be like Skip Bayless. I can't say I've ever seen anything like it. Quite like it. Quite like it. I can't say I've ever seen anything quite like it. The man will hezzy, cross, then go like 200 miles an hour into the hoop like he's about to attack the dude at the rim, and then just shoot a floater off the wrong foot. And everyone's like,
yeah. Nah, it's wild. He's good though. He's really good. I don't know. I mean, Joel looks better than Jokic so far, but I will say this: don't sleep though, because Embiid tore a ligament in his thumb, and they did end up losing that this last game. It was 110-102. He didn't look like himself. He only scored 21 points, and it was really hard shots. He didn't get as many rebounds, and he played 39 minutes. So with him being kind of hindered, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Paul Millsap is going to have to step up.
Nah, I'm just saying, bro, don't sleep, man. I'm telling you, dude. Because if he's not 100%, he's not going to be 100% probably until the playoffs are over. Like, he tore a ligament in his fucking thumb. He can't do the same shit. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raptors come back, bro, because they are a good team. We're sleeping on them because Embiid is just so overpowering. But if he's not 100%, we've seen it many times. Him not being 100% in playoff series, they're going to lose 99 out of 100.
Yeah, I mean, as a Hawks fan, I can see what John Collins not having your hand right, that affects everything, man. Like, can't catch lobs, can't shoot shots. Like, unless all you want to do is block shots and get rebounds, like, this is going to fuck your game up. Yeah, I ain't sleep, Terry. I ain't sleep. I did think it was time to take a look in the mirror and be a little honest with myself, though, because self-reflection is key.
All right, so let's go to the last one, man. Probably the most shocking one, to be honest with you. Memphis and fucking Minnesota, bro. Tied up 2-2. Like, I don't even understand what the hell is going on in Memphis. Ja is trying to hurt himself every single game, just like always in the regular season as well. Like, Memphis just doesn't look like the same game to game. They're just really inconsistent. They're playing like Karl Anthony Towns. Like,
Wow. It's almost like their best defensive player can't stay on the court. It's the only guy they have who has a shot at guarding the other team's best player is constantly in foul trouble and is playing 26 minutes a night this series, Terry.
Jackson, man.
He's got to cut it out, man. You can't jump for every shot. Like, this is your third or fourth year in the league, bro. You got to be past this. This is why I did not put you on my defensive player of the year ballot. You got to – the best ability is availability. And you can't be a defensive player of the year ballot playing 25 minutes a game like Matthias Thybulle. It's just not possible. You got to put your big boy pants on, just like Kobe told Powell. Stop jumping for every shot. Stop fucking reaching over the back for offensive rebounds, getting all these cheap fouls. Stay disciplined. He plays 35 minutes a night. I don't think the Warriors or the Timberwolves win another game.
They're straight blowouts. And him and Karl Anthony Towns actually do like similar shit. They both are dumb. They're both dumbasses because like Karl does the same shit. And like he's been in the league for 7 years. So he knows better, bro. You can't be doing that dumb shit. You can't be getting dumb fouls like wrestling for position. And you have 4 fouls in the fucking third quarter, bro. You cannot be doing that dumb shit.
Also, what is the Timberwolves coach doing? Like putting guys in with 4 fouls in the first half and shit. Like, have you ever seen somebody mismanage fouls as bad as Chris Finch?
Nah. See, like
they don't do that in college.
No, they don't. Like, I understood it when it was the play-in. I get it. That's your only chance to get in. I get it. But this is a 7-game series. All you got to do is win 4 games. Rest your guy. Let him sit. All right? You need him to play the game later. You need him for the fourth quarter. But we called it. Actually, I think I called it. You were being really stupid about Steven Adams. I saw after game 1, that shit's done. And Memphis is lucky as shit that Brandon Clark is really giving them good minutes. Because with Jaren Jackson always having high number of fouls and Steven Adams not being able to guard Karl Anthony Towns, I think they would have been getting blown out in some of these games if Brandon Clark wasn't playing as well as he is.
And Slow-Mo as well, giving them decent minutes.
Yeah, Kyle Anderson. I mean, but you said their bench is great. They have a really good bench. So these motherfuckers, they're lucky that this is probably the worst bench versus the best bench. They're really lucky because
we said that from the beginning, man. And also that Minnesota starting 5, like that. You look at their on-off numbers; they've been terrific. Like, I think they have the number 1 offense in the entire league among starting 5s, and with Pat Bev being inserted into that lineup, it's along with Jared Vanderbilt, it's a higher degree of defensive intensity than we've used to seeing coming from the Wolves in recent years. They got the young guy in Anthony Edwards who thinks he's the best player on the court at all times.
Mm-hmm. Could you imagine?
You need a We Believe type of guy like that to have the We Believe Warriors. Like, you need a dude who looks at Ja Morant and is like, no, you're worse than me. Like, guess who was the number 1 pick the year after you, buddy? You're the number 2 pick. Yeah. Like, let me show you what I can do.
No, you're right, man. I mean, but like, shit, man. Minnesota, I swear. Could you imagine, like, they're like one actual good player besides Patrick Beverley? Like, you can keep Patrick Beverley for, overall aggression for the team, getting the guys to, like, get together and shit. But, like, if they actually had a piece that could make shots at the end of a game and play good defense as well, Minnesota would be a problem.
Man, if they just had, like, one of the guys from Memphis.
True. Like, give them one wing from Memphis and Minnesota would be really good. They're good in it.
But we got to give Towns credit. Like, he's been ambivalent. He's fluctuated a lot. Games 1 and 4, he was good. Games 2 and 3, he was trash. So we know the story with them. If they're going to win the series, Towns has to be the best player. Or at least the second best player, and Anthony Edwards has to be the best player. But
no, he definitely does. And
where does the referendum on Ja Morant come into the picture, Terry? Because we've been talking about John Morant, the MVP candidate. John Morant, winner of Most Improved Player. John Morant taking the biggest leap in the NBA. In the words of Draymond Green, John Morant is the latest guy who I have to look out for who plays chess when I'm on the court.
Exactly.
He said that. He was like, John Morant is playing chess.
Yeah. Was he also the one that said that he had a top 5 IQ in all of basketball right now?
John Morant, yep.
Yeah, you heard that type of shit too. I'm just like, are y'all sure about that? Because I'm pretty sure I've seen him do stupid shit. So, but I'm not on the court, so they know.
I just think early on in a player's career, we don't focus on the warts. All we focus on is the positive, the shiny stuff, the stuff that tantalizes us. And it takes us a while to see the warts and to become focused on them. And this might be the first offseason of warts for John Morant because so far in his NBA career, it's been nothing but positive, 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 positive.
Yeah, but in the playoffs is where you get to really see and nitpick on the type of shit and actually see the details of which your guy needs to be able to hit outside shots a little better, man. Because
it's like, I don't know if you're playing chess or checkers or parcheesi, but if you can't hit threes and all you can get is layups, you can call whatever game you want, but I'll beat you at it.
You're going to have a short career. You're going to have a sharp decline. Just ask D. Wade, Russell Westbrook, and Allen Iverson about hitting the fucking floor 60 times a night. All right? You need to start shooting some jump shots, dude. Like, you don't have to drive every single time. He looks like he's in one of those bubble balls. Because when he gets hit, he bounces off them. Like 5 to 6 feet every single time hitting the floor. You got to.
You know what he needs to do? I figured it out. He needs to work out during the offseason with Tom Brady. Like, you remember how Tom Brady with the TB12, he's like, I worked on falling all offseason. I worked on getting sacked and letting my body go limp as I hit the ground so I don't get injured. John Morant, don't work on the floater. Don't work on the three. Spend the whole offseason working on falling properly because it looks like you're going to be doing a lot of it.
You're right. I mean, he's got a problem. But let me let's indulge on Cat for just 1 second. Indulge me. In your 7th year, we shouldn't be having conversations in which one end of NBA people laugh at you being the third best center, and then another end of NBA people are like, "Oh, he's definitely like the third best center." You have to have consistency and be able to be like, "Nah, this dude's a top 3 center." Like we don't question fucking Durant, LeBron, and all those motherfuckers. Giannis. Right now, those dudes are great. Like, they're top 5 easy. I mean, think about it. Cat, this is your 7th year in the league, man. Your numbers are great, but your consistency has to be key. It has to be key. You can't play like fucking 11 points in a fucking playoff game, bro. Stars don't do that shit. Now I know Durant did it recently, just in this playoff series. He really hasn't been doing that. Cat, you got to stay 25 and up, man. You have to. You can win this series. You can.
Well,
like, this is
the thing is, I don't want to shit on the man. Like, so I'll be very specific when I say this. In regards to basketball, just basketball, because I know Karl-Anthony Towns, his mom died, had to deal with a bunch of shit in his life. He has shown mental toughness in his day-to-day life. On the basketball court, Karl-Anthony Towns has shown a worrying amount of lack of toughness, both physically and mentally. Whether he's getting bullied by bigger, stronger players that are looking to G-check him, or he's making silly mental mistakes, committing 5 awful fouls that he has no business doing, or whether he's not running back on defense because he's doing his best DeMarcus Cousins impression, arguing with the ref 20 seconds after the joint.
Yeah.
Have you seen a player argue with the referees more since DMC than Karl-Anthony Towns is a big?
This year?
Like, his effect on his teammates is like, it's toxic. Like, he has the like, this is unfair. Everyone's picking on me, flailing my arms up. Why aren't I being protected type of energy? And it's you're never going to be a great player if you keep looking to get bailed out by the referees and other people. You got to find your own answers, dude. You're 7 feet tall. You said you're the greatest shooting big man of all time. You should have plenty of ways to attack the defense.
No, you're right. You are right.
I don't want to hear the excuses, dude. It's all up here. It's all up here. You show me some toughness. You show me some grit. You're gonna go far in this league. If you don't, you'll wind up like Anthony Davis.
I think he is who he is, man. Like he's just gonna be one of the more frustrating, NBA really good players. And that's just his career. That's who he's gonna be. We're 7 years in. You are who you are. He's not gonna change. That's over, bro. He's a good player, but it's just not tough. That's all. No big deal. You
don't see a Cordero Patterson-esque 8-year leap coming in the league.
Nah, that's some football shit. That's some football shit. That's not basketball shit. But hey, man, that's our playoff preview right there. Cat's still soft, and actually, you got Memphis. Still Memphis, right? Memphis in 6.
Yeah, I still got Memphis. I think Desmond Bane has taken another step from where he took another step in the regular season. Like,
dude's a beast.
Desmond Bane's looking like the second best player on the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
and
he's a beast.
If John Moran is afraid to shoot from the outside, Desmond certainly isn't.
No, definitely not. And then also, I'm giving Dylan Brooks a little bit of credit. He's still doing his stupid Dylan Brooks shit, from time to time, but he's not acting like he's the best player in the series. He just kind of seems like he's fitting more in his role, and I love it. I love to see it from him because he's got up here at the top of his head. We know he's like, I am the best player, and I know.
Right.
Just trade me, and I'll be the best. I swear.
I think when Dylan Brooks was like 6, some old wino handed him a prophecy. It was like, first there was Michael Jordan, then there was Kobe Bryant, then there was Dylan Brooks. And he's subscribed his whole life. He's like, yeah, and then I played in college. And the prophecy is coming true, guys. I mean, what am I going to argue with success at this point? I mean, I'm clearly supposed to be the next Kobe Bryant.
I think about that series that Jackie McMullen has on The Ringer, and she's like, well, Bill Russell talked to Wilt, and Wilt talked to Kareem, and Kareem talked to, somebody else, and so on and so forth. And LeBron talked to Dylan Brooks. And then you're just like, Brooks, you're not in the same room as these guys. They see you coming. They're like, no, meetings, no, we're closed. Get out of here.
No. Dylan Brooks get on a public bus. Jim Brown stands up so he can have a seat.
Yeah, man. But hey, man.
He's like, take a load off, young blood. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You remember when Dylan Brooks, he was trying to get traded to some team. They tried to trade for Marshawn Brooks. And then it was a 3-team trade with the Suns, the Grizzlies, and someone else. And the Suns thought they were getting Dylan Brooks, but it was Marshawn Brooks. And the deal went all the way through on 3 teams until they went to sign the paperwork. And the Grizzlies were like, wait a minute, we're not trading Dylan Brooks. He's fucking good. We're trading you Marshawn Brooks. We keep hold of our good players. And then everyone on the NBA internet was like, wow, I'm sure that's what held up the trade, Dylan Brooks. And now 4 or 5 years later, we're like, yeah, Dylan Brooks, probably better than the dude they were going to trade for 4 years ago. Shout out to the Grizzlies.
That's funny. Yeah, I just looked it up. I was like, damn, that can't be true, but it is. That's hilarious.
Who was the player in question that he was going to get traded for?
Fucking when I click on the article, man, I don't give a fuck. Fuck Dylan Brooks.
It wasn't somebody who was life-changing. You know what I mean? It was another regular dude.
I have no idea.
Shouts to Dylan Brooks from being a trade afterthought, being confused by your own and other teams for another player, to a guy who's pouring in buckets for the Grizzlies, providing a level of toughness, and banging out one of the finest trannies this world has seen. Shout out to you, Dylan.
Right, man. That's our NBA playoff preview. That's part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, baby. We're coming with the soccer talk, man.
Yes, sir. Football. It's an all-football podcast. Football and football. American and otherwise. Catch you on the other side.
Thank you for listening to our podcast this evening. Thank you. You're far too kind.